Alright, this is part 2 of the FM8 tutorial. Assuming you kind of figured out the basics of FM8, here's some cool ideas that I use a lot that might be helpful for you guys. So I touched on it briefly about getting some cool stereo effects going. So a lot of times I will take two oscillators, hard pan them, or pan them, and then whenever I'm using to modulate them, I'll just use subtle differences. And for this, a lot of the times I will do, I don't know, 20-ish. Now it's going to be pretty drastic unless you take these way down so that they're not changing the timbre so much anymore. They're just changing like little pitch offsets. So you can widen your sounds out a little bit there, like the mono. And then you can actually take, if you want to get even crazier, another modulator that goes to both of them. You can play with that. Maybe drop these down an octave. Another thing, this pitch here also has an envelope, which you can make. It's good for like whoopy kind of Mobaton sounds. They can get pretty extreme. Another cool thing that you can do is, it probably won't work so well with this example, but you can also tell the pitch envelope not to affect things. So I can say like these two modulators are going to stay the same pitch. And like if it's longer, you have different amounts of breakup going on as it gets dissonant and then harmonic again. Or vice versa. I mean, you could always turn them on there and turn them off for the ones that are making sound. So I've had some luck with that. Something else that's cool is running your modulator through the filter first. Then you can automate or use the envelope. There's some really cool stuff in it. some of these format ones, you can get some dumb monster sounds doing that. I used to use this kind of quadrant morphing more wildly to get these like really crazy sounds. I will tell you, it doesn't do so well. Operators. It doesn't do so well if you're moving from one waveform to another on a single operator. So if you want continuity and not any weird breakup, try and keep those the same across the board, or at least close. The architecture is the same thing. You want to keep it kind of close. You can have it change ratios again when you're around in there. It starts to turn to noise a little bit. So you just have to be a little bit mindful of that. And when you automate it in a DAW, it's usually a little bit smoother. And you can use these here to kind of help you get smooth. These are kind of macros that'll change your things like overall feedback of the different oscillators and things like that. I don't usually use them unless I'm stuck, at which point I should usually just scrap it and start over, but I'm too stubborn. More useful, what we were saying before with getting two sounds that are very similar and just using subtle differences to control the stereo field. You can get that to be like more or less out of control from one side to another. There's this little, you can save it here, the architecture just here, and paste it, which saves you a little bit of time. But you still have to reassign all the wave shapes and ratios and things. Oops. There's that jump we were talking about. So there, that's going to be mono, because these two are the same that are doing the modulation. That's going to be stereo, or on the other side. So you can use that to kind of control like how nuts your sound is at different points. There's some kind of cool stuff going on with that. Yeah, I don't know. That's my basic tricks rundown. I'm trying to think if there's anything else cool that I do. I usually just try and pick a theme and go with it. I had one the other day that was different ratios here going up in octaves. So like a 0.5 to a 2. And then controlling them all from a single one of these. And you can put get some cool sounds doing stuff like that. Or maybe yeah, be careful with feedback. Because it starts to build up. I've been using it more and more for builds also, because you can take these things out to be many measures long, like 4 measures, and have it attack over the whole thing. So it'll start with just like one tone and then have tons of modulators come in and make it kind of wash it out to noise. Anyway, if you have any questions, if there's things I've forgotten, which I'm sure there are, please tell me, which I'm sure you will, and I'll see if I can't help you out a little bit more. Oh, before I go, the main thing that you can do to get better with this synth is just make super simple things and figure out how they affect each other. In other words, like, what happens if I have these two and I change that to 1 plus 4? How does that sound differ from if I change this to 1 plus 4? You know, and kind of keep a mental catalog of that stuff. Same with the ratios, like I said in my other video. Or if you're offset, what happens if you're in between even numbers, stuff like that. So, play with it, experiment with it, keep it super simple, keep it idea-based, and then let it kind of slowly get more complex rather than trying to jump all into it at once, because it's a pretty deep synth. And that's it. Have fun. Make a lot of music.